Welcome to day 6 of our month of tarot this May. And today we are going to be thinking about tarot as a spiritual experience. So many people may come to tarot with obviously a belief that there is something more to life. Perhaps we have experienced trauma or loss or grief, or maybe we're just curious. Maybe we've always had a little bit of an interest and intrigue in terms of what happens after life. And tarot, maybe we've been to see a tarot reader and they've presented us with something that's like mind-blowing, or how could this possibly be true, or we've seen a psychic or a medium. And for me, one of the main questions I will always ask people when they begin a tarot path is, where is your belief at? Because you may not have even consciously thought about what your spiritual belief is. You may have been brought up religious, you may have been brought up atheist. But the fact that you want to play and work with tarot definitely suggests that you have a belief that goes beyond the ordinary. So my first question for you, and I'd love for you to respond to this in the comments, is, what is your evidence? So when I say what is your evidence, what I'm really referring to is, what has happened to you in your life that goes beyond the ordinary? What has felt supernatural? What has felt mysterious? What has felt like magic? Because if you didn't have those experiences, I don't think you'd be here. So there may be an array of small experiences. Many people who I ask this question to tend to have experiences from childhood, feelings and certainties of not being alone, feelings of being connected to something much bigger, perhaps feelings of being connected especially to nature, birds, animals, but also experiences where perhaps they've lost someone and they have still felt very certain that that person is around them, maybe even with particular experiences that speak to something a little bit paranormal and supernatural, maybe, seeing a spirit of somebody departed, or having some kind of very clear message that could not have been anything else from a loved one. There may be some of you who've seen ghosts. There may be, I'm sure most of you will have experienced wishes coming true, dreams coming true, manifesting stuff. Also weird synchronicities, coincidences that begin to feel like they can't possibly be a coincidence. You know, where life sort of stacks up in your favour. Intuitions, where you've been absolutely right about a person or a situation. Things that just, if you examine them on like a really basic level, maybe to some people who are cynical would not make sense and they would find an explanation, but for you, you just know. You just know. And so talking about this, I have dozens and dozens of experiences coming to mind, from some, like a couple of creepy sort of supernatural ghosty experiences, through to the everyday signs, symbols, intuitions, knowings, interesting synchronicities and coincidences. And for me, this is where our spirituality should begin. Not in some long ago written book, not on a mountain in Tibet trying to be a monk or a nun, not even in meditation, but just in the here and the now. What is the universe saying to us on a daily basis, or on a every so often basis, or on a basis that this thing once happened and it blew my socks off? Okay? What's your evidence? Put it in the comments, because I love these stories and I know we all love these stories. So to read each other's stories will make us feel less alone, and make us, I guess, help us to understand that this is not a unique phenomenon, and that in fact many of us experience these things. And whilst we may not be able to scientifically prove anything, we have this intuitive, personal understanding that stuff has happened, and to us it makes a difference, and it's brought us to this path. So ways to continue to connect with spirit in a way that feels safe, the way that feels loving, for me would be to begin to explore your spirituality, and to do that from within. within your life from within these circumstances that you're already in. And for me, tarot and oracle cards and nature in particular are ways to explore that. So constantly taking a card every day for however long and then looking at the reflections, it begins to get quite mind-boggling. I've been reading tarot for 30 years and I never get bored of sitting with a client, taking out some cards and them looking at me and saying, that's my life. Oh my gosh, that is exactly my life. And everybody's cards are different and it never gets dull because everybody's life is so unique and so beautiful. So every day I get to work with that energy of being able to be the middleman between a person and some kind of divine spirit who wants the best for them, who wants them to get higher, better, grow, more nourished, more nurtured, more empowered. Because for me, that's what tarot is, and that's what a spiritual path is. And anything lower than that, I have nothing to do with. Nor do I know anyone else who does, to be fair. So yes, let's think about our spiritual path and how we can pursue it. So here are some quick ideas. Prayer. Speak to your divine. Whatever you choose to believe that it is, speak to it. Speak to it before you fall asleep. Speak to it in the morning. Pray. Absolutely pray. I mean, I used to pray like, dear God, Goddess, guides, angels, spirits, fairies at the bottom of the garden, like covering my bases. These days I just, dear God, because to me that captures all of those things, and honestly it's just easier, saves time. So pray. Set up a little altar. So an altar can be something that contains things that are precious to you, maybe photographs of a loved lost one, photographs of people who are in your life now who you adore, maybe a tarot card. Your tarot card for the day would be perfect to go on the altar. A shell, a feather, a candle, anything that contains the elements: earth, fire, air, water. A little cup of water, a feather for air, a candle, and maybe a rock or a stone or a crystal. So all of these little things placed into one space, and it becomes your area of concentration where you can sort of have spiritual thoughts when you pass it, maybe write little notes and pop them on there. These are all really easy and introductory ways to get to know your spirit. Read some spiritual books, look out for the signs, look out for the numbers, the 111s and the 222s. What else can we do? We can meditate and we can connect with animals and nature. So there's so many ways. So let me know in the comments your ways. What do you already do? Inspire us, inspire the group. Share with us what you do to connect to your spirit. Maybe it's just a long bath and a deep breath at the end of the day. But whatever it is that brings you back to you, that brings you back to your spirit, and that keeps you that little bit connected with something a bit magical, let's talk about it. And don't forget, pull your card for the day. And maybe today, make your card, all about with a focus on. So when you're pulling your card, think, how can I be more spiritual today? And then let that card that comes up be your answer. Share it in the comments if you're unsure. I'm happy to come and give you some guidance and a little poke, and we'll figure it out together. Okay, thank you, and see you again tomorrow.